me see what this is about. Yes, thank you. I just want to briefly share some of the things that cause a lot of heartbreak in future when people are considering the choice for a spouse and are in marriage. So I have been getting calls today mainly about uh, women calling me. This has been the case for a very long time, but the calls are getting frequent. The cries for help, especially for family support from women, are getting just getting outrageous. So I need to address this. When you get into that institution called marriage, the first thing people who marry abusive spouses do is to attack the means of income of the other woman. It's called economic abuse. It happens to the males as well, but it is predominant amongst women, where the fact that you marry, especially for those of you that marry in school, and then the man tells you that, okay, when we get married, I'm going to take over your academics. I'm going to send you to school. And then you do not finish school, and your father shifts the responsibilities of your school fees to this gentleman. And after some time, you just find out that he's no longer talking about school. He's no longer talking about school. You get pregnant, and after the first pregnancy comes the second pregnancy, and you have no means of income. Your education is not even complete. But you submit to it because you think that this is being a virtuous woman, an incomplete education. Secondly, to those who are already working, but the man feels insecure about your means of income. Now, this is a problem, especially for women. You marry some people who cannot stand your progress, who cannot stand your success. The one who is making more money becomes a competition in the house. Just like Joseph and his brothers, the fact that Joseph dared to have a dream, his brothers thought to kill him. The fact that they see you as a star, as somebody going somewhere, it causes insecurity with the man who tells you to leave your job and become a housewife. Why? He wants you to become totally dependent on him. A lot of women have done this, leaving their jobs, leaving their livelihoods, leaving their businesses to sit down in a house with a man because the man said so. First of all, this is a crime. In Nigeria, the Violence Against Persons Prohibitions Act, Section 12, subsection 1, calls it economic abuse. And it is up to 3 years imprisonment for you to tell someone to stop work or take over their means of livelihood. It is so bad because you become useless to your own self first. You become useless to your children. Then you become useless to your own family, because the fact that you are here, some people in your family are also depending on you. But when you stop work, means that you are no longer and can no longer be a means of support to even your family. Then the fourth is that the state, the country, is even unable to get tax from you. You that are able to pay tax with the education, the enlightenment, 2 arms, 2 legs, and to your country, you cannot even add to their gross national product or whatever it is. The government sees this as a serious issue. And therefore, there is a law against it called economic or financial abuse. So you stop work, and then you sit down in the house. So the days he's happy, he gives you money. The days he's not happy, he doesn't give you money. The day he loses his job, the entire house suffers, because then there will be nothing to eat. But if the woman had a job, she would have been able to support. I really don't understand this issue, because the moment a man tells you to leave your job, it is the beginning of abuse. It is called economic abuse. And then when you have lost your job now, you've left your job, at the end of the day, the marriage does not work out. You are now left with how many children? 2, 3, 4, 5 children. And then you leave And you now start calling people like us to help you cater for how many children. The worst are those that their bride price is not even being paid, meaning that they are not legally married. But you stay with a man, give birth to the first child, give birth to the second child, give birth to the third child. The man now tells you, of course, he didn't pay your bride price. So you are not legally married. What are you even doing with someone you are not legally married to? Let us say the first child was a mistake. You should have looked at it. Anybody that would want to marry you genuinely after the first child will go and meet your parents. They would. And a woman must make sure the first child, you look at the way the first child is being treated, the status you are now in, whether you are still single. That should determine if you would give him another child. But I got a call now from a woman, 3 children living in a man's house. The man stopped her from working, put her in the barracks, and now I said she should leave. He's no longer interested. She now wants me to come and, what were you doing when you had the first child? Nothing. Second child, third child. You moved into a man's house and lived with him for, it was about 12 years. Now he tells you to leave. But what do you want to claim? You are not married to him legally. You are just the mother of his children, and he is the father of your children. What do you want me to do for you in that situation? Now, under normal circumstances, by law, one should be able, the father is supposed to take care of the children. In sane times, child support is a necessity. In America, it has been criminalized, as in you could go to jail for failure to pay child support. But then look at the country that you are in. You are in Nigeria. How many people have you heard gone to prison for child support? How many people have you heard been arrested in the police station for child support? That he didn't pay child support, he didn't pay the children's school fees, or he didn't send me money. How many people have you seen? That tells you that it is not a priority for law here. Ordinarily, it ought to be, but it is not a criminal offense. It has not been criminalized here. In such a way, arrests or even precedence is not there. Who is in prison today for child support? None. There is no such occurrence. Who has been arrested that you see that they locked him up while the police is filing for prosecution for someone who refused to pay child support? What you have arbitration. That's they call these people to help, to appeal to the man that please help us with this, pay. Some even threaten, but they have no force of law. There is no consequence to the defiance. There is no consequence if they say no, or if they say they've heard and they don't pay. There is nothing you can do except take them to court. Then the courts, let me give you the example of the drama that happens in court. The man tells them that he earns 100,000 naira. He borrowed 700,000 naira from a cash app. And every month, from the 100,000, they remove 40,000. And then he too must go to work, and he must go to, he must eat, and he must. So out of the 100,000, the same 100,000, remember 40,000 is gone from to the cash app. Then he has another 30,000 naira for transportation. Let's say another 40 naira transportation, feeding, that he also pays rent. And then he will tell you that for these 3 children, he can only afford 10,000 naira a month. There is no process through which you can ascertain how much the man earns. So it's what he tells the court. And when he makes a good case, they'll say, no, 10,000 naira is too small. And he'll say 50,000. I've seen a place, in a case, where a man is paying 20,000 for 4 children. That's 5,000 per child for a month. 20,000 cannot, and he said he can't afford it. He said it there, but what can they do? You can't sentence him to prison because there's no provision for that. So what am I telling you? Women in particular, why, first of all, the fact that you are not even working makes you a dependent. That is why you cannot leave abusive marriages. Why would you stay there? A man wakes up in the morning, a woman called me today that he beat me because I took the key away from the mouth of the door. You know, when you open the door and the keys are dangling, and she removed the key to the door. And the man came in and said, who removed the key? And she said she removed it. That she was, do you want to use the key for something? He said, no, it was just dangling at the door so that it won't. And that was a slap. From a slap, she said, you slapped me. It was a push. Next thing, she comes tumbling down the staircase. Head swollen, jaw bleeding. What's going on? You want to go and report him? I have nowhere to go. I have no money. Why? You didn't allow me work. So money itself is a defense. And how do you help a defenseless woman? That means you will be ready to be the source of income for the woman. You take her away from an abusive marriage, right? You will say you rescued her. Next thing, she calls on you. Me and my children have not eaten. Omotola, how are you? She says she has not eaten. You have to send money to her. The children have not got. And you say, what can you do? But they've been out of circulation. They've been out of the job market for so long that they cannot get a job. Unless they have to start from the beginning. And what can you do? Do you have a skill, a talent? You will be ready to now start sponsoring this. So it is difficult to help people, especially women, without a means of income. Now let us even leave the means of income. What if the man just suddenly dies? The man just dies, slumps, dies, has a stroke. That means your means of income has had a stroke. Your money has had a stroke. Your food, feeding, school fees had a stroke. So what happens? Oh, Kashal Raj, hi from India. Thank you. So what happens? The woman resorts to start begging, calling this family member, calling this friend, goes a borrowing. Why? Because the man cannot, is incapacitated. During COVID 2020, over 4,000 people lost their jobs in the financial sector. Some of them had told their wives not to work, so they were there, not able to feed. You cannot have gone to primary school, secondary school, gone to the university, started a job, or owned a business. And then because you married a man who cannot stand your job or your progress or your success or your enterprise, now tells you to stop work. And then you go to sit down, totally unable and incapable to have or earn a living except what he... Can you imagine? You are in your period as a woman, you are menstruating. You have to go and beg a man for money to buy pad, sanitary pad. When last did you do that? When last did you do that? When you were in secondary school? Because even as a university student, you are not going to ask men for money to buy a sanitary pad. This is the problem we have. Women, stop quitting your job. Stop quitting your jobs in the name of marriage. It is the height of stupidity. It is the height of foolishness. Then when this man suddenly dies or loses his job, look at what happens to the woman. The woman starts going to beg. Then one day, you know, she's down and out. No, nobody wants to borrow you money again because you don't have means to repay. Then you go and meet the man. He says, okay, not a problem. I'll give you, but come and meet me in room 303 at the Tavern Hotel. Knowing what that means. He says, is it because I'm asking you for money? That's why you can keep your money. And she flares up. That, what do you mean? You want to sleep with me because... And she flares up. The man keeps quiet. She flares up and leaves. But after 2 days of hunger, watching her children starve, even herself not having anything to eat, nobody will tell her before she picks the phone and calls the man back and apologizes. I'm sorry for the way I spoke to you the other time. I was just sorry. Can I still come and meet you? The man says, no, maybe you were. He says, no, please, I'm sorry. I will come. Well, just tell me what. And that is where it starts. That she says, well, anyway, I'll just close my eyes for 10 minutes. He will finish whatever he wants to do. And then he will give me 15,000 naira. Not even 50, not even 20, not even 30, but just for 15, 10,000 naira. And then you say the woman is sleeping around. It wasn't that she wanted to, but to feed her children, to eat, not to talk of send them to school. They now start dating men. By dating means sleeping with, you have 2, 3 boyfriends. This one will handle feeding. This one will, give me this. And that is how it begins. You now start calling them prostitutes. No, it was from a fundamental mistake of leaving their jobs in the first place. Money is security for both man and woman. And if you had your job, a man can't just slap you and beat you and kick you all over the place. You will be able to damn the consequences, go and rent your own flat and move in there with your children. But now, you are coming. Barrister Olumide, please help me. I need him to take care of his responsibility. How many children? 4 children, 3 children. Don't give birth to more than you yourself can take care of. Then these women that keep reproducing, you are not married to him, you are just birthing his children. That is problem in future because you will be kicked out for someone that has more value than you are because he got you without stress. He picked you up like a piece of paper from a newsstand and took home. There is no pride, there's no dignity in living together in coitus. That is someone you're just staying somewhere, the man is just sleeping with you, getting you pregnant, and that's it. You have no claim. And at the end of the day, he will tell you, apart from the abuse, because you are absolutely useless to him, except for sex and reproduction, he tells you that you need to leave. Because he has no value. You will find someone who is more valuable, and then you will hear people like that, being single mothers of 2, 3, the father of their children is now married to somebody else. Why? You cannot, let us say the first child was a mistake. You cannot repeat the same mistake without either him marrying you, and it is not even compulsory to marry. But you make sure you do not reproduce for someone who you have no long-term goals. Cannot. And then it will be abusive. There is no way. So this one that you're calling me, telling me help you with child support, in Nigeria here, he will get away with it. That's just it. Have you seen anybody in prison for failure to pay child support? There is none. At least I don't know. I've been doing this for 22 years. I don't know of any who was arrested, locked up, sent to prison for child support. If there is, the ratio is so low, so inconsequential that people don't notice, like a drop in an ocean. Stop reproducing in abuse. Once abuse starts, reproduction must stop. You can't keep reproducing your abuser. Do you understand? You can't. John Zinn, kindly reach out to me via the right channels. I'm on live now. I can't give you legal advice while I'm live on air talking about something else. I need to tell women, especially those that are not married, stop that reproduction. At the end of the day, you are the one that will take care of those children single-handedly. Secondly, those who are in abusive marriages and keep reproducing, you will be kicked out at the end of the day, or you yourself will leave at the end of the day, but you will not have the means to take care of the children. So you will start running after the man, asking people, you're calling his uncle, you're calling his sister, until everybody insults you and says, well, listen, I know they won't at the born the pikin. The two of you go and settle it. And you don't have means to do so. You will not be, please, I need you, go to human rights, you go to arbitration center, you go to family support unit. Nothing. Let me tell you something. None of them have the force of law. That means if he disobeys, there is no consequence. Nothing will happen except you take him to court. And the time you will hire a lawyer, the money you will use to hire a lawyer will be more expensive than the school fees that you want to pay. The money that you want to use, it's absolutely ridiculous. Stop reproducing. And you know that people in abusive marriages have more children than those in sane marriages. Do you know why? Because abusers always aggressively reproduce. Because the more the number of children, the more difficult it is for the victim to leave an abusive marriage. It will have been easier for you to leave the marriage with one child. Easy. With 2 children, not so easy. With 3 children, difficult. With 4 children, absolutely difficult. How would you take care of them? You know that the man to get at you will withdraw. So you need to stop reproduction. It's ridiculous. Once abuse starts, reproduction must stop. And you calling me, telling me I want child support, that is the most difficult part of whatever advocacy against domestic violence or abuse or child abuse is. Child support from the father or the mother, whichever one is able. They use children to settle scores. They use children, to get at you, because I know whatever I say to you, you could adapt to it. But the only way to get at you, especially the narcissistic fellows, is to use the children as a weapon against you. That is the real issue. So they will not get you anything. The child is sick. Please send me money. They have started school now. Or he will pay this term. He will not pay that. Just to frustrate all your expectations. Stop giving birth. Don't give birth to any child you cannot take care of. Because certain things in life, especially those in abusive marriages, you end up taking care of the children alone. Secondly, life gives us some nasty turns, which is like the death of a spouse. Then what happens? You have 5 children by yourself. And you know you don't have money. Listen, don't give birth to more than you can handle. You know financially that this will not, you are struggling as a couple. You now want to do it individually. Those in abusive marriages, stop it. Once abuse starts, reproduction must stop. So this year, I'm not going to even, you see, last year was terrible. All this, my 22 years has been. This year, New Year resolution. I'm not going to bother with a lot of cases. A lot of them. First, those that are looking for support, child support. I'm just going to tell you up straight. I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do except to go to court. And can you talk to him? Can you scare him? Yes, I may be scary. Yes, my name also may be scary. However, it does not carry the force of law. If he doesn't do it, I can't kill him. I won't even try. What do I do? You've seen me going to start appealing, begging an abuser. And please, Mr. Abuser, I know that you really love abuse, but you must be a nice guy inside. It's only responsible that you pay. You see me trying to appeal to an abuser, I usually lock them up. We usually lock them up. We lock them up. That's what I do. But then you won't want them locked up too. Why? Because if you lock them up, your means of income too has been locked up. So you are caught in a barbed wire, in a wire mesh. And how is it that you can depend on one person who tomorrow might be no more. It does not make sense. You yourself, women, the onus is on you to have a means of livelihood. Marriage is not a means of livelihood. Marriage is not a source of income. Any man, it should be the beginning of any discussion. First of all, your blood group. Hi, my name is Olumide, I'm AA. If you say, oh, you are, you know, I'm AS, you are AS, there's no further. Then during your discussion, one of the things is that, listen, I'm a woman, I'm a graduate, I will work. Or I'm an entrepreneur, I will build businesses. I would have a steady source of income. The man must agree to that. You cannot go into marriage with an open-ended, it is what the man says. Women, you always regret it at the end of the day. A lot of men too are in abusive marriages. But the statistics cannot be compared to that of women. The losses cannot be compared to that of women. Anumba, Chidolwe, thank you very much. It cannot be compared to. So what are you telling me, ladies and gentlemen? What are you telling me? You keep reproducing so that because I thought it might change? I was one that the mother was saying, oh, give birth to all your children here so that you won't have children there, and then you give birth to children that the person that told you to give birth to them will not help you to support. They will push you to the giving birth. That means to give yourself again, open yourself again to the abuser. When the result comes out in 9 months, they come for your naming ceremony to eat the food and they go back. And when the school fees are due, when the sickness, the illness, the hospital bills come, where are those people that told you to give birth here? Where are they? Do they ever support? Do they ever support? I don't see them. I don't see them supporting anything. But they push you because you simply refuse to think for yourself. Is this how I will continue for the rest of my life? Is this how it will be for the rest of my life? Ladies and gentlemen, please, those women that are saying, I want you to help me get child support, I want him to handle his responsibilities. My organization is not for you. There is nothing we can do. But something you can do beforehand is to stop giving birth for irresponsible men and abusive men. Number 2, stop giving birth for men that you are not married to. How is it? Let's give everybody a benefit of a doubt. Let us say, let's give everybody one child, like, sowing your royal oats. You didn't know that it happened. Okay, it happened. I was a single father too. But I would not do that being a single father of 2, single father of 3, it was just 1. And you must learn your lesson quickly. You cannot. Then you go back, you get pregnant again. This woman said that the man said that the reason he's not going to pay her bride price is because each time they make love, they make out, he usually has a bad dream. You did the first child, you have a bad dream. You didn't stop. You did the second child again. The bad dream led to another child. You did the third child, that you have a spirit husband. All that nonsense. 3 times. And it's not as if it is one time that you have, that she will get for you. You say, oh, you tell me we copulate. You have a bad dream. But you have been copulating and having children. The bad dream was not bad enough to stop you. And you, this woman, you still stayed there. Now you're on your way out. You're now asking me, help me. And you see them, they always come with lots of children. Least is 3, 4, 5, 6. Where are you now going? Who would even help you with 6 children? Who has 6 rooms or 3 rooms extra or 2 rooms extra just to give to you and your children, your battalion? Stop You know, in what economy? You are not even working. Especially those that don't even have, you're not even working. So if he dies, or you think he's immortal, if he dies, what happens? Ladies and gentlemen, I just had to come on here to share this. This is absolutely ridiculous. Those of you looking for, I will give you the truths that they might not give you at your welfare unit, that they might not give you at the OPD, that they might not give you at the FSUs, that they might not give you at the arbitration. They'll say they will take him to court. But the court room, after the court, that is what you should go and investigate. After the court, they took him to court. What was the decision in court? Then, do you know how long a case would take? The stress you will be going through. Because the man would also come with his own, give his own excuse. His business is not going well. And how would the court sanction someone who is barely trying to survive? They will paint. I know a man outside, you know, he parked his car. You understand? He was literally putting off his shoes to wear slippers. And then, you know, took off his watch, and then came to court. He wasn't the same person that came out of the car that was in court. He had changed to tell them that he wasn't making money and all that. At the end of the day, he said all he could afford was 5,000 naira. The wife was screaming that this man has land, and the man said the land is not his. You will be arguing in court for so long, and at the end of the day, how much will you get? And then how long will it sustain? So when he does it 1, 2, 3 months, and then stops 4, 5, 6, do you want to get a lawyer again to now repeat the same long court process to get him to? Listen, Nigeria is not like that. What you are watching are Hollywood movies. And you think child support, it is criminalized there. You can go to prison for child. In fact, people run away from states. Someone will flee from Philadelphia, go to Chicago. Why? Because he's running away from child support. He will go to prison there. In Nigeria, it is not like that. I don't know anybody in prison for child support. Nothing will happen. I'm telling you, nothing will happen. That is the most frustrating part of family law. That now leads you back to your own senses before you become a victim. Proverbs 22:3. A wise man sees trouble from afar. The advantage of wisdom is seeing trouble before it gets to you. Know that, first of all, never leave your job for any man, except that job is too demanding that your family doesn't get to see you. So you can leave it for a less demanding job that maybe they don't, you know, a man will complain that I never see you, your children don't know you. Aha. You can leave it for a less demanding job, but you are working and you are earning income. But the man tells you it is against the law. Section 12, subsection 1, Violence Against Persons Prohibitions Act, tells you that it is financial and economic abuse. 3 years imprisonment. What are you saying? Never leave your job. It should be something you conclude in that, Oga, I went to school from primary to the university. I am going to work. Do you have a problem with me working? Oga, I am an entrepreneur. I'm learning skills. I'm acquiring talent. I'm going to start a business or businesses. Do you have a problem with it? If he has a problem with it, or you see from the way they are talking, the moment in a marriage, a man starts talking about your job, you know, a virtuous woman, you should still stay at home and take care of the children. The moment you hear that, fly. Fly. Why? Because that is the beginning. Man will not rest until you lose your means of income. Now, we had a case some time ago where the man used the wife's computer to type her own letter of resignation and sent it to her boss, and then deleted it from history on the computer. The woman noticed that the people were behaving somehow to her in the office. You know, her boss wasn't. And at the end of the month, they just called her and, you know, she didn't know why. He said, okay, hand over your kidney to this person, teach them. And she looks and says, okay, are you firing me? They're firing you. Well, you know the one that said you wanted to leave? Said, And she never said so. Eventually, an argument ensued. They showed her her mail. She was in shock, and it came from her mailbox. Till she saw the date and time, knew it was her husband. That's how she lost the job, because the person who came left another job to pick up this. So you can't tell him to go back. He, they had to. She lost her position because of a jealous and insecure spouse. If a man or a woman will be insecure about your progress, leave, ladies and gentlemen. It's not worth it. Let me keep and save some of my thoughts. For now, it's just working in the office and, oh God, Barrister Olumide, please help me make him take care of his responsibilities. We are starving, and he has, this man is doing well, but he will not take care of the children. I say, so what do you do for a living? And he didn't allow me work. Really? For how many years? See them, 6, 7. Some, I was working at this, but, he told me to stop work. How does that even come into the picture? Women, never leave your job. Never. That income is your lifeline, is your security, because anything can happen. Let us even say he's a good man. Suddenly he dies. What happens? His family members come. They start taking property. Before you know it, where's my brother's car? Where's my brother's land? You don't have money to fight back. You don't have money to fall back on. This is why you see some people, the moment the husband dies, they first of all withdraw the children from the schools and start sending them to lower schools or, government schools. The children that are used to one kind of life, they have to leave this place. Because the disparity, how can everything be dependent on the health and life of one man? You must have security. You must have security, which is your job. Your job. Or else, let me tell you the end. This is what you would do. You'd either become a religious zealot, that is going to church to pray for deliverance, God will help this. Number one. No, but all that one will not last, because hunger is real. The women end up having multiple boyfriends. Why? The man will not give you 10,000 today, you come back, please, the children have not, gives you 10,000 tomorrow. The third time he will tell you, come and meet me. Nothing goes for nothing. I'm spending on you. You have to let me have it. When the woman thinks, my children, they've not eaten, they will go to school. All the stories of widows who successfully supported their children, almost 80% of it, they had to be somebody's mistress. Somebody had to be supporting them. I'm telling you, this is what I do. This is what I do. It becomes someone else's side chick, because it is difficult. And it is only difficult when they have nothing, no job, no skill, no talent. After the man dies, everything dies. You'll be looking around, looking. So at the end of the day, that is where your end is. Look at the end. I'm telling you the end from your beginning. Look for a job, look for a means of income. If they tell you to choose, you choose the means of income. Because, man, tomorrow, they tell you to leave. So please, don't come to me and tell me to help you for child support. This is not America. This is not London. This is not Europe. This is not a first world country. There is no such thing as even a second world country. The gap is so, they have to make sure that we are far away. First world and third world. There's no second world country. Nobody would arrest anybody for child support. Nobody is in prison for child support. Nobody is not paid the school fees, so arrest him and send him to prison. In Nigeria, it won't work. Thank you very much, everybody. I wish you all the best. Listen to me. Women, never leave your job. Don't give birth to more children than you can. Two is okay, than you can take care of. Because at the end of the day, you might just be kicked out with those children. And you will have to take care of them. Having 3, 4, 5, 6, that is already a signal that there is abuse going on. I wish you guys all the best. Thank you once again. God bless.